Welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez, presented by the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, I am honored to have on our show Mr. Javier Garcia, who currently serves as the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for the Florida region and is responsible for developing and executing sales and marketing strategies, plus overseeing the region's direct sales function, customer service centers, Xfinity retail stores, and the Xfinity Communities account representatives that serve and support customers living in bulk communities throughout the region. Mr. Garcia also previously worked at the company's corporate office in Philadelphia as Vice President and General Manager of Multicultural Services. Prior to joining Comcast, he was a General Manager of U.S. Hispanic Business at Yahoo. He holds an MBA from the Wharton School of Business and a Master's in Arts degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, Javier, for your very valuable time. I see by your very impressive resume that you have always been a leader in sales, marketing, and more importantly for me as a Hispanic woman, to see that you are leading the way to provide opportunities to minority-owned companies and minorities in general. I do want to say before we begin this interview that our chamber established an education foundation in 1996 with the mission of providing paid internships, scholarships, and an enrichment program whereby we annually take underprivileged students on a paid trip and partner with a chamber member to host a one-day workshop followed by a lunch. And coincidentally, in the year 2008, Comcast in Philadelphia hosted a group of 12 students, 2 teachers and me.
It'll be my absolute pleasure to have you guys back. So it's great to hear, and we'll absolutely need to do it again.
Absolutely, we will be there. We're going to take you by your word. But throughout the years, you know, we've been visiting different cities. We've been to Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., and many more cities. And it's something very nice because it empowers students. So we're very privileged and happy to partner with companies such as Comcast for that. But anyway, putting that aside, let's talk about Comcast. And how was Comcast Rise born and under what mission? Tell me a little bit about that.
So this is really part of a larger umbrella, our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the program is really a multi-year commitment to support small businesses, specifically owned by people of color, so Hispanic or Black owners, among others.
Okay, so when you refer to people of color, and I always like to emphasize, because in Miami, you know, Miami is 70% Hispanic. Now, and when you hear people of color, does that include also Asians, Hispanic, African American? So color is everybody that is not basically Anglo? Is that what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So exactly. Hispanics, absolutely, definitely included, African American, Asian, all of that you mentioned.
You know what happens in Miami is very Hispanic. And as Hispanics, we all think Hispanics, we're from Cuban American, Puerto Ricans, we're Colombian Americans, Venezuelan Americans. So we don't see ourselves as that, but it's good that you clarified that. So how many business owners have benefited from Comcast Rise to this day?
So we started the program in October last year, and so far it's been 4,800 entrepreneurs that have received help. This is across the United States, but our hope is really to get to 13,000 by the end of the year. So we still have a lot of work to do in enterprises to help.
That's very impressive. And we'll talk about a little bit more about that in a minute. But first, can you tell us a little bit more about the other Comcast Rise program that provides small businesses with media and technology resources?
Yes, absolutely. So it is all part of the same program. It's just we have been improving it as we go through the different iterations. But it really starts with a consultation, and it really comes down to what is that a small business need. In some cases, it is all about getting the word out. So we provide advertising, essentially turnkey solution, where we actually produce the spot, the TV spot, and we provide the broadcast media for the spot to run. In some other cases, could be technology. And what we do is we provide them with a technology makeover, internet access, and things like that. And like I said, we keep improving the program. So this time around, we're partnering with Eureka, which is one of our partners that provides, for example, 12 months coaching. And I think one of the big things we're very excited about is we're also adding this year a $10,000 grant to each of the winners. For South Florida is 100 of those. So we're committing at this point $1 million in grants in addition to the rest of the benefits of the program.
That's amazing, and I congratulate you on all of your efforts and Comcast in general. So what is the Comcast Rise Investment Fund, the monetary grant? Just explain a little bit more about that.
It's part of the program, and ultimately, small business need to qualify for it, and we can talk about it later. But ultimately, they'll receive the grant, like I said, in addition to the rest of the benefits, and it's a $10,000 grant that they will receive.
And how the application's judged? What is the process?
So it's really two things. So the process, they need to fill an application, which starts almost right now, October 1st. But the way we think about it is twofold. One is, what is the contribution of the small business to the community? That's on the one hand. But on the other hand, how has COVID really impacted negatively what is the need really from COVID, but also how resilient the business is. So how have they been able to cope with all the COVID challenges? So we look at all those three aspects and ultimately make a decision around the grant.
So basically, the eligibility requirements and small businesses, what do they need in order to apply for Comcast Rise Investment Fund? Like basic requirements.
Let's be a little bit more specific. So, as I said, this is definitely focused on people of color. So it has to be 51% owned and operated by a person of color. So again, Hispanic or Black. It also has to be independently owned. That's very important. The other one that I think is very important to note is it has to be a company registered to operate in the United States. I know in South Florida, we have many companies that may not be like registered, so that's important as well. And although another question that I get all the time is, how about home office, small business that operate from home? So those are eligible for the marketing and advertising part of the package, not necessarily for the technology makeover.
And is there a minimum of employees that you need to have in order to qualify for this program?
What I just described are the requirements to participate in the program. Now, the grant is a little bit more, we have a couple more requirements. One is it has to be a really small company, 25 employees or less. Obviously, we want to be very transparent with the grant. So at this point, we're limiting Comcast employees are not considered within the grant, or anyone that works for the government, either part-time, they are not considered for the grant. And that's ultimately, I think, there's probably more requirements. My best answer is go to the website, comcastrise.com. That'll be comcastrise.com. And then you'll see all of the requirements and all of the things that they need to do to qualify.
So they can complete the application online?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how long does it take? How long does it take to let the business owners know that if they've been selected or not? How long is the process?
That's a great question. So it doesn't take long. The program starts on October 1st, so that's when we start the applications, and then closes by October 14. And then the selection process goes within a month or so. The entrepreneurs should know if they got awarded the grant or not.
And Javier, before we close the show, did I leave anything out? Because this is a wealth of information that you're providing, and we just tried to put it in a small capsule of like 9 minutes. So anything that I left out that our viewers should hear about from you?
No, first, thank you to inviting me to your space. I've seen some of the videos on YouTube, and it's amazing the work that the Chamber of Commerce does. So very supportive, very proud of what you guys do. I think just to emphasize, obviously, going to a website is the best resource, ComcastRise.com. You're going to see all of the requirements. And then emphasize that this is part of a larger commitment. Ever since last year and the events that transpired last year, Comcast has had a tremendous support to diversity, equity, and inclusion. But not only that, we have a support to the community. We have many more programs. Probably you need to invite me again so we can talk about them. Internet Essentials. There is really our company. We are really committed to helping the community in South Florida, helping entrepreneurs, and so there is many more. It's just one piece of a larger tent of things that we do. And thank you again for inviting me.
Thank you. It has been a great pleasure meeting you and to hear all the wonderful things that Comcast is doing. And I thank Comcast for being a member of the South Florida Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for over 18 years or more. And thanking you again for your very valuable time, because I know you're extremely busy. So thank you all for tuning in to A Business Minute with Lily Lopez, and we'll see you next week at the same time. Thank you.